Why, hello and welcome back to all of my friends, my fans, and yes, you, my fellow FTFLers, to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football show out there. That's right, boys and girls, it is time once again for the FTFL weekly update. And as you know, I am not only the host of this award-winning program 10 years running. Nope, not just that, because not only am I the owner, the president, the man in charge of the two-time Hulkamaniacs FTFL League champion, but I am also that voice that has been whispering and growing ever louder, wondering, Matt LaFleur, where is the page in the playbook with the slants, with the quick outs, with the back shoulder throws? Are all of those pages missing? Are all of them? Because all I can tell Matt LaFleur is that every page contains several deep ball routes, a few handoffs, and a handful of sacks. Figure it out, man. Figure it out. Huh. Yeah, that's right. It is I, Brett Sieber, host of the show. Welcome back again, FTFL Weekly Update. It is week 10. We are now 10 games in, 4 regular season games left to decide who's in and who is out. And the interesting thing is nobody's out. In fact, both divisions, top to bottom, separated by 3 games. 3 games. That's it. With 4 to go, it is literally anyone's ball game. Although I wouldn't be putting a ton of money on the North at this moment because the North just can't find a win except John's team somehow, some way. Let's be honest. Jeff, holy crap, Jeff has lost 5 in a row. I myself have lost 3 in a row. And Jeff and I are only aided in this by the fact that the champ, who was once streaking in a positive direction, has now been streaking in the other direction. Andy, 3 losses in a row. The North just can't find a win except for John. And wait, you're like, who is that other team in the North? He mentioned John, Brett, Jeff, and... Oh, that's right. It was Peter's friend on the meter, Linkowitz, Adam Swart. Did he win this week? I guess we're going to have to go ahead and wait. Speaking of Swart, a number of weeks ago, 6 weeks to be precise, he made a trade with one Adam Saltmarsh. Since that trade, Adam Saltmarsh has gone 4-2, finds himself at 500 after this week. What a turnaround he has had as we get ready for week 11. Holy cow, it is the haves versus the have-nots. Teams that are 500 or above playing against teams that are all teams that are above 500 playing against teams that are 500 at best or below. We're either going to watch the whole thing get even tighter after this week or start to see some separation and watch the panic meter rise for some owners. And with that, we'll get to the games. Now, first up, the Pack Attack. Coming in at 6-3, taking on Make America. Great again at 6-3. The battle for the South Division, and it was more of like a slap fight as opposed to a full-on 12-round boxing match. 72 for Eric, 69.5 for Sid. According to my Browerville math, that makes Eric the winner. Eric was led in scoring by the Bum, who netted himself 24 points. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 10.5. CMC, 10 points. 20.5 points for Eric's keepers. They continue to shine each and every week. Eric did have 4 players at 5.5 below. One of those being Derrick Henry, 5.5 points. This year, he's averaging 9.6 points a contest. Last year it was 14. The year before that it was 10. The dude is 31 years old, clearly seems to be slowing down. Does he have enough magic in that old, black top hat? The old, I thought it was tin hat he found, but that's not it either. You know what? We're not doing Christmas carols because Thanksgiving hasn't happened, and I'm not that guy. If you're Sid, Baker Mayfield, 22, Emeka Egbuka, 15, Cameron the Cameron the Kicker Dicker, 14 points, Quinshawn Judkins, 5, Montgomery, 6.5. Sid, that's about it for running backs. He has 0 running back depth. If David Montgomery is not going to kick this thing in a drive, Quinshawn Judkins, great player, terrible team. team. I'm Sid. I'm super nervous, compounded by the fact that A.J. Brown, is he upset? Is he not upset? Is he involved? Is he not involved? Well, he wasn't this week. 1 point from him. Sid falls to 6-4. Eric rises to first place in the division at 7-3. Next up, Team Dickweed. That, of course, is John's team, coming in at 5-4, taking on my hotspot. John has had his eyes on my hotspot for the better part of a week now, just waiting to get after it. Couldn't wait to sink his fingers into it, and sink his fingers he did, let alone curl them up and just take the whole fist right to my hotspot. 118.5. Wow, that was... we crossed the line there, I'm sure. 118.5 for John, 85.5 for Markser. By the way, this is John's high. I thought from like, wow, 118.5 points. When was the last time John scored that many points? It was last year, week 12. So it wasn't all that long ago. Travion Henderson, welcome to the NFL. 30.5 points. Finally, the dude shows up. Jackson Dart, 20 points, but isn't going to play this week. I don't know who John... oh, you know what? We'll get to who John has on his bench in a moment, because some of you are like, oh, he has Jaden Daniels. He is in a world of trouble. But is he? We'll see. Broncos defense 17. Nico Collins 13.5. No one was below 4.5 points. And as I mentioned, yes, John had Jaden Daniels because we all know he is a Washington homer. That dude's elbow went the other direction. He's going to be out for a while. Jackson Dart. John loves himself a rookie, a youngin. He was playing great. Banged up his head. Concussion. He's not going to play. Down to John's third string quarterback, who, oh, by the way, is the only quarterback in the history of the NFL for 3 straight weeks to throw 4+ touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That's right. Matt Stafford steps into the starting role for John. I think he will be just fine. My hotspot, Jeff, Seattle's defense, 19 points, 2 defensive touchdowns. That's a really great week, and one you think you would like to win. Of course, you'd like to win them all. You should win if your defense scores twice. However, Jeff didn't. As we mentioned earlier, this is his 5th loss in a row. Roma Dunze, 13. Lamar, 12. Rico Dowdle, Austin Genty both had 11.5 points. Half point on Jeff's bench. Half point. I'm going to let that sit for a moment. Jeff only has one more win than he had all of last year. He is racing towards the bottom. In fact, he is now the owner of the tied for the worst record in the FTFL this year with 4 to go. Will he do it in back-to-back years? Boy, oh boy, that would be something. All right, next up, the Mexican Cocktails coming in at 6-3, taking on Team Linkowitz at 2-7. I mentioned it. Andy has been in a bit of a funk over the last 3 weeks. 97.5 for Adam, 93 for Andy. If you're Adam, Jacoby Brissett. One more time in case you looked away, your wife's talking to her, or you just have bad hearing because you're old. Jacoby Brissett got a start here in the FTFL in the year 2025. 20 points for him. Jamison Williams, 15. Lad McConkey, 14. Kamani Vidal, 12.5. Zach Charbonnet. This is just a ragtag bunch here, pulling it all together. 10 points. By the way, stopped his own 3-game losing streak. And again, as I mentioned, he's only 3 games out of first with 4 games to go. Somehow, some way, Adam Swart has a chance to get off of Peter's meter and back in to the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see. If you're Andy, Devin A-Chain had the greatest game of his career, 37 points. Brandon Jacobs, 14.5. When you have 51.5 points combined from you 2 running backs, that's usually a sign that good things are happening. And really, 93 points is good things. However, not good enough. Devonta Adams, 13 points. Bo Nix, 8. We've been talking a lot about Andy's quarterbacks. Dak, of course, had a bye. Bo Nix steps in, underperforms, 8 points. Dallas Goedert, 4. George Kittle, 14.5 on the bench. Now, I am fairly certain Dallas Goedert is a tight end, as is George Kittle. Now, 14.5 minus 4, that is 10.5 points. And if I look, Andy lost by 4.5. So I think if the number muncher could chime in, please let us know. If Andy would have started George Kittle, would he have won and snapped the streak? I'm going to go out on a ledge and take a guess. I think the answer is yes, but the number muncher hopefully will help us with that. Speaking of the number muncher, this year celebrating 10 years of the FTFL Weekly Update, we have visited past things. Of course, who dis? We've been some blasts from the past, some characters we haven't seen in a while. We are going to go back to yet another clip in the annals of the FTFL Weekly Update. I hope you enjoy it. Another FTFL Weekly Update, blast from the past. No, he ain't gonna get me. He ain't gonna get me. Help the tree. I'm all right. I'm okay. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. I can't find it. Oh God. I'm gonna. Now I gotta go get the one at Matt's house. An all-timer. I mean, Bart has some of the worst luck of all with, his eye and all the different things that have befell him over the years. That might have been the worst. Speaking of Bart, I mean, man, oh man, the pictures from last week, the report, I have heard nothing since then. I am worried. I am concerned. I'm, for, of course, Bart and Bort, but also a little bit of me for the whole, is John around? Is John alive hunt? I mean, I think it was heading in a good direction. We had some insider tips. And then, last week happened, I guess. We'll stay tuned and hope for the best. All right, here we go. Back to the games. I may suck at fantasy football, but at least I got my keepers in, coming into 5-4, taking on the team that did not get his keepers in, the Valhalla Vandals. The Valhalla Vandals been on a little bit of a run. I mean, 4-5, almost 500 win this week. You're back to 500. You're in playoff contention. Boy, oh boy, would that have been a story to get behind with 4 weeks to go. Instead, we're going to have to wait another week. 102.5 for Matt, 85.5 for Peter. If you're Matt, Jared Goff, 24 points. Brees Hall and Jackson Smith-Njigba both notched 18.5. Kyron Williams, 17. He had 80 points on the bench. Now, there was no kicker in a defense on the bench. 80 points, and he scored 102.5. Jeff scored 85.5 and had a half point on the bench. Matt he's 6-4 now. Is this the year? Is it going to happen? Finally off the schneid. I know you're probably watching, Matt, thinking, how dare you, you son of a... now that you've talked about it, you've jinxed it, and I'm screwed, and it's over. I hope not, Matt. I'm pulling for you. If you're Peter, Chris Olave had himself a game. Tyler Show, is he going to be the guy in the future? Maybe, but 18.5 for Olave. Jalen Waddle, 16.5. Cam Little, 13 points from the kicking position. And Aaron Jones, Showtime, 11.5 points. But Peter falls to 4-6. Matt rises to 6-4 and stays a game behind Eric for the lead in the South. And last, but certainly not least, the Hulkamaniacs coming in at 4-5, taking on the Radioactive Monkeys at 4-5. I definitely looked at this game as, if you win, you are in the driver's seat, clearly, and it shows. Eric, I think, posted a link in the message board with, the odds are, and it just goes in the order everyone's already, it kind of seemed a bit shady, but whatever. Yes, Salt Marsh, if the playoffs were today, you're in, because 104 for you, 80 for me. I fall now to 4-6. Still, though, only 2 games back from first with 4 to go. Thank you, Andy, for losing those 3 in a row. I, like many people across the country, got completely cut in half by the buzzsaw that was Jonathan Taylor and his 41.5 damn points. Good God, what a way to start a football Sunday, right out the gate with a punch to the throat. That was really wonderful. By the way, that was tied for the 10th highest running back score of all time. 41.5, just the 10th. I believe it was Jamal Charles with 56. I didn't write it down. I should have. What a poor job of reporting I'm doing. Oh, well, the number muncher, that's something maybe you add to your list. 17 points for Drake London. The Texans had 14. 12 points for Jalen Hurts. If you're me, I did have a running back that said, hey, Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to go ahead and give it a go. See if I can catch you. Not quite, but almost. 33.5 points for Jahmyr Gibbs. Trey, I can't believe how great life is without stupid face Junior McBride. 18.5 points, and his run continues. Thank God. Again, stupid face Junior on the shelf. Wrapped up, the turd that he is in a bag, kind of yeah. And in his absence, Trey McBride, loving it. Of course, we need more than just Gibbs, McBride, and then, of course, Nakua, 12.5. I had 6 players at 5 points or under, just didn't get it done. One of those, Jordan Love, 2 points. I mentioned it as the start of the show. Matt LaFleur, figure it out. Teams are playing zone against you. Your offense. I want to go deep with the ball. I want to that down the field shot. It's tough to beat a zone deep, and ask your line to cover for that long, to block for that long. Intermediate routes. Tucker Kraft was killing it. Now Tucker Kraft is gone. Slants, back, shoulders. My God, what are we doing? Anyways, 2 points for Jordan Love. 5 points for Bijan Robinson. Let me tell you what. I am a bit peeved about that. More in just a moment, because we're going to do the stud, the dud, and then Yeah, the list. And we're going to get up out of here. Stud of the week, this was easy. Jonathan Taylor, 41.5 points. Dud of the week, A.J. Brown. No one really knows what's going on with A.J. Brown. Nick Sirianni says it's not a problem. A.J. Brown says it's not a problem. But everyone else saying, oh, it's a problem. Sid lost by, just a handful of points. A.J. Brown getting an average score would have won. Instead, he loses in terrible fashion on Monday night and is now no longer in first place in the South. And that brings me to the list. Speaking of the South, the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons, the team where my star running back plays for, Bijan Robinson. Atlanta Falcons, you drafted Bijan Robinson with the 8th overall pick. Now, I get it. Back in 2020, by the way. I get it. Sorry, 23. Back in 23. When you draft a running back that high, you're taking a risk. Because, running backs seem to be kind of plug and play. However, this guy, according to all who work with him, all who have watched him, all who have talked to him, is a generational player with generational talent. When someone says Marshall Faulk, they don't say that lightly. That's the kind of talent you have on your team. And what do you do to help this individual? You bring in Kirk Cousins. You sign him to a guaranteed contract. And then you promptly draft a quarterback with pick number 7, Michael Penix Jr., instantly creating a quarterback controversy that has completely engulfed this team. Meanwhile, the money you've spent on the quarterback has not allowed you to really invest in your offensive line. Therefore, although I should mention, because, oh, by the way, when Tyler Algier got the ball the other day, wide, the holes you could have driven a truck through. But the moment you handed the ball to Bijan Robinson, we close that up. There was nothing. Atlanta Falcons, whether it's collusion, whether it's buffoonery, either which way, you suck. You are ruining the young career of an amazing running back and, quite frankly, putting my season in jeopardy. So therefore, because of that, Atlanta Falcons, oddly enough, right after Kirk O'Chains, you are going on the list. Are you happy? Tough, because it's on there. All right, well, that is it for that. All right, let's just knock out Week 11 and get up out of this place. Here we go. The Pack. I remember told you the haves versus the have-nots. The Pack Attack coming in at 7-3, taking on the Radioactive Monkeys at 5-5. Team Dickweed, John's team, coming in at 6-4, taking on the Hulkamaniacs at 4-6. Mixing Cocktails at 6-4, taking on my hotspot, which is just reeling from week after week. Abusal, if that's a word, I don't even know if it is, but boy, oh boy, it is red, it is sore, and it is limping its way to the finish line. At 3-7, I may suck at fantasy football, but at least I got my keepers in, coming in at 6-4, taking on Team Linkowitz at 3-7. And lastly, Make America Great Again at 6-4, taking on the Valhalla Vandals. And that'll do it. That is Week 10, 4 weeks of regular season football, 3 weeks of playoff football. It is mid-November. There's a chill in the air. Some of the best times lie ahead. But until next week, my friends, peace! All right. So another week in the books. We go ahead and head on in and wrap this up. Did someone just knock at the door? Whoa! Can I help you?
Somebody rang?
What? No, I'm the only one here, so I didn't. Who are you?
Someone here. They said my name 3 times.
No,
Yep.
I didn't said your name 3 times. No, listen. I don't. The only name I said. I talked about Kyler Stupidface Jr. a lot. You're definitely not him. But wait a minute. The letter from last week, that weird, mysterious letter, that was, if you want help finding a dead guy, all you have to say is Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetlejuice. Yep, that's
Beetlejuice?
looking at him, the one and only.
What is it? Wait, hold on. What do you do? What?
What do I do? Let's see here. Mainly I'm kind of a private parts invest. You know what? Let's just go ahead and say I'm a private investigator. Yeah, that sounds better. That'll keep me out of trouble.
Whoa, hold up. What does that have to do with any like dead people?
The dead guy stuff. Yeah. A side gig. You know, I can talk to dead people. I can find, if you got someone that you think is dead, I'm the guy.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, we're kind of looking for a guy. I mean, one of our league mates, John Linkowitz, no one has seen him in a long time, and one of our thoughts is, yeah, maybe he's dead.
Yeah, John Linkowitz. If he's dead, I'll find him, guaranteed.
I mean, I just finished up the show, and so I guess if you
Getting a little
if you
cold
want,
out
I
here.
can
If you want to let me in.
let me set stuff down, and then we'll bring inside, and I'll tell you all about John.
Is your wife in there?
I'll be right back
I'll go
out.
see.
What the hell's going on? God, this is weird.